Hi, this is Jessie Chu.
And Quinn Wynn, co-founders of Paper Talk. Welcome to Season 4.
We're here to share paper flower journeys, engage with makers and artists, support small creative businesses, and chat about our obsessions. Follow along as we give a voice to and nurture a community of paper florists from around the world.
We are so grateful that you're here. Make sure to hit subscribe and consider supporting us by writing a review.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Paper Talk. Today, we have Arlene Rust with us of Arlo Arts. And Arlene is from the UK. And if you have not heard of Arlo Arts, because she is one of the few brick and mortar stores that carries crepe paper, and she's located in the UK. And she has tons of UK fans. We know that.
Yes,
our very own Sue Bowen. Sue Bowen loves your shop, tells everyone about it. So Arlene, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Arlene.
Great to be here. Hello.
Well, I have a dying question. I want to know how you came across crepe paper and when did you start making paper flowers?
So, like quite a few paper florists, I got married in 2015. When I was researching the flower side for it, I decided I didn't want real flowers. I didn't want flowers that were going to die. I wanted something to keep. So the usual internet search, I came across paper flowers. Initially, I focused on origami style flowers, and I created all the flowers for my wedding. So my bouquet, posies for my bridesmaid, all the table decorations. And I got obsessed by origami. And I also made 1,000 paper cranes to act as a top table display. So it was completely paper focused. I made lots and lots of flowers for my wedding. It was about 850 individual flowers I had to make. And I had a little project plan because I was working full time. And then after the wedding, I was still obsessed with making the flowers. I was still making them. And my husband got a little bit frustrated with the amount of paper flowers that were at the house and tried to encourage me to offload them. So I started to try and do craft fairs. So I started playing around with craft fairs. And from there, I looked into other types of paper flowers and came across crepe paper and started making flowers with basically any other type of paper, whether it's origami paper or comic books. And I just developed from there. So I started doing craft fairs, but I didn't feel that they really worked for me, partially because some of the ones I did were outside. So it was a gazebo in a car park, and you were subject to all different weather conditions, whether it was raining or windy, and also transporting the flowers. And I didn't really enjoy that whole process of setting up and just generally that whole process. It felt like you had to make, you're trying to second guess what people would want rather than being able to make custom work. And all this time I was working full time. I used to work in the city of London, work with investment banks. I was very much corporate. And it gets to the stage in everyone's life, I think they almost have a midlife crisis and want to do something different.
Yes.
So I thought, I'm not sure I really want to do this commuting every day. I was commuting about 2 hours to London every day, working really long hours, working with people based in Toronto, in Sydney and in London. And it just got to that stage like, no, don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to embrace the paper flowers a bit. An opportunity came up in Bedford. Someone opened a small shopping arcade and they had lots of little units. And it was just a monthly contract, so rolling each month. So I used that as a test bed. Started getting a little bit of a reputation, but the location didn't really quite work for me and it wasn't quite the right setup. So I decided to take the plunge and sign up to a proper big bricks and mortar shop in the centre of Bedford with a lot more space, an opportunity to run workshops, as well as sitting there making the flowers all day and having a very large stash of crepe paper. So one thing I struggled with was getting good quality crepe paper in the UK. And I contacted Mortar in Germany, and I liked their paper. I liked the fact that it had a high UV resistance and was non-bleeding. So it was good quality and you knew that it wasn't really going to fade. Plus they had the doublet range. So I opened an account with them and they manufactured lots of paper to order for me. And these pallets and pallets and pallets came over from Germany.
Yes, we've heard about
days
those.
and days unloading it because I do this all by myself. So I'm a single female business. I don't have any workers. So everything that comes out of Arlo Arts is just me So all the orders that are dispatched, it's just me. I'm the only one that runs the shop.
You are.
So it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And it takes quite a bit of dedication, but I've finally got to that stage where I feel that I've built up a business and I've built up a nice reputation. I would just like to be able to make a lot more flowers and have time to make a lot more flowers.
So you said that your shop is in Bedford. Do you live in Bedford as well?
Yeah, I do. My husband originally from Bedford, and when we had children, we decided to come back and settle closer to our family rather than being in London. So I'm only a 10-minute walk away from my shop, which is brilliant. So no commuting. So quite often if people want to pick up orders on a Sunday from the shop, I can just pop in and collect. And obviously during the pandemic, it was quite convenient to be so close to the shop so I could get supplies when needed. I could dispatch orders without any real issues. So it definitely was useful to be close to the shop.
For sure. It's so interesting. I mean, like, Arlene, I think like your story from making paper flowers to opening up a brick and mortar store, like that is like a lot of our dreams. A lot of the people we've talked to anyways, and Paper to Profit, have dreams to open up their own store. No, not necessarily to sell supplies, but which comes naturally though, but like to run and host workshops and just, contribute to the community. So your story, it's so cool. It's so, guys, it's totally doable. If you put your heart and soul into it and quit your daytime job.
Yeah. It is a full-time job and more. So I'm regularly making things in the evenings as well. So it is hard work. There's a lot of things you need to think about. If you have a bricks and mortar shop, then obviously you're taking on a lease for a period of time, whether it be 1 year or 5 years. You've got all the extra overheads that you have to think about, whether it's business rates and local taxes, and generally try and make sure that you've got enough interest within the store. So it's maybe not just paper flowers, maybe you've got other complementary things in there. So I happen to sell craft supplies as well, along with all the crepe paper, but I've got things like craft kits, so paper craft kits that people like. And I just try to get quirky gifts and vases and things like that. So people, if they want to order some flowers, then they've got the ability to get a vase with it as well. So it's about not just focusing on the paper flowers. You have to think of all the other aspects of it and the running costs and the just day-to-day, general running a retail business.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you find the most challenging running a retail business?
Finding time to do everything that I want to do. I think that's the main thing. I'm really, really bad at saying no to people. So if people want to come in, they see me making flowers, they want a custom order. No, I haven't really got time to make it. I find it very difficult to say sorry, I don't have time. That's one of the hardest things.
It is hard.
Yeah.
The other thing that I find difficult is that when I'm sourcing goods for the shop, so whether it's gifts or other supplies, that I'm not just buying things that I like, that I want. So I have to think of what customers.
It's true.
You got to know the trends.
Yeah, all your favorite colors. Oh, that's so true.
Like in the day of Arlo Arts. Like, when do you ship your packages? When do you make your flowers? Like, when do you open your stores? What is your day like?
So I open the retail door for shopping at 10 o'clock, open till 5:30. The first thing I do, I go in, make myself coffee. That's mandatory. Nothing happens until I've had at least one coffee. Print off all the orders that have come in sort of overnight, package up all the orders and get those dispatched. So my first few hours in the shop are always getting the previous day's orders out and packaged and dispatched. Then I'll sit down, have another, and then it's starting to make things. So I sit in my shop. I have a desk next to sort of effectively the till area, and that's my workspace. I've got crepe paper all around me, and I'll sit up and making the flowers. People come in to the shop. They might watch me making flowers, and they come in. But I still get this, and it still really surprises me. People come in and say, "What? These are made of paper." I hear that so much.
I love that.
Yeah. My husband says that I should have that splashed on the wall somewhere, as a saying, yes, they are all made of paper.
Right behind you.
But people are fascinated. One of the things I think with having a bricks and mortar premises, people can come in, they can see the flowers, they can discuss custom orders, and it's almost like you get a bit of added credibility by having a shop.
Yeah.
But also people are inspired by what they see. So they see things and go, oh, I didn't realize you could do that. So I think I get a lot more orders because of that people can see it. People think, oh, this is different. This is unusual. Yeah. So it definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah. I think the legitimacy thing is, I think you're so right on that point. A lot of people still find it's kind of like a brick and mortar store, just like your website, is somewhere for someone to actually go and see if you're legit. Are you real? Are you delivering the type of products I actually really want to buy? Or instead of you not having a website, not having a place, people just, you have a name and a telephone number. There's no trust there. I think there is a sense of trust when also they see you physically in the store. So they know, this person actually works here. There's a sense of community as well, especially if you live there. Like, oh, this is my neighbor. I can trust her. I can trust what she tells me and what she makes for me. And I think there's something really wonderful about that local feeling, and that the idea that, even though, yes, you can talk to someone from around the world, nobody knows your community, your history, what you're doing better than the person who lives next to you. There's something, I think, that nowadays like to come back to supporting local. And I think that's wonderful. It's wonderful that you work where you live. You live where you work, vice versa. That's so cool.
I think it's changed as well with the pandemic as well, with people having lockdowns and certain restrictions being in place. So I was getting orders for things like thank you gifts and that, and I was doing the doorstep deliveries, which is always really strange. Like,
that is so nice.
It is.
Going to people's houses, knocking on the door, and then sort of putting the package on the doorstep and stepping back and saying, delivering things, whether it's craft supplies or kits or paper flowers. It was so nice to be out and about to deliver things to people that couldn't get to the shop or weren't allowed to be in the shop. One of the other things in the UK, for some care homes and hospitals, real flowers aren't permitted anymore. I don't know whether it's allergies and things like that, but I was able to deliver get well gifts to care homes and to people in hospital because paper flowers were permitted. So they were still getting flowers. They were still getting a sort of a touch of nature, but they couldn't have the real ones. So that was quite nice as well.
That is so wonderful.
It's so thoughtful. I mean, having somebody hand me the gift, especially the person who made it, like that's a connection that you can't. That is special. It is a special connection, especially if we're used to getting like packages from, I don't know, what couriers that like throw them onto your porch, right?
Care whatsoever.
That's so different. That's so nice. Yeah, that's wonderful. I know you also rent out your space for workshops. Like how does someone go about doing that and arranging that with you? And and also, second question, what was your idea of like, why are you offering this type of opportunity and space?
Yeah. So when I had the first shop, this very small unit, people were coming in and looking at the flowers and saying, do you run workshops? Do you teach people? So it was basically driven by demand. People wanted to learn and people wanted workshop spaces. So when I got the opportunity to move to a bigger shop, I made sure I had a space there that I could have workshops running. I would love to run more myself. I just really physically don't have time to sit down and design the courses, design the template. So because of time pressures at the moment, but also because of the pandemic where we weren't allowed to run them, I haven't run any workshops for a little while. Hopefully in October, I'll start running a few more. I've got a birthday party lined up that I'm doing for someone, but people can contact me if they wanted to run workshops and say, can I rent the space? Or if they want to come in and have a party organised, I do that as well. So it's really nice to be able to have sort of group celebrating, whether it's a hen do or a kids party, I love doing things like that. I just haven't really had a huge amount of time to get them all organised at the moment.
How did one contact you to reserve your space? Is it better to go in person, call you, or email you?
Any mechanism. You can call me, and people can send me an email, contact me through Facebook, or even pop into the shop. It's whatever's easiest for people, really.
I love that you make yourself so available to your customers.
That's the special touch, right?
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, my approach is that I'm quite relaxed about things. I want people to be relaxed about things. If I'm making paper flowers for them, I want them to feel confident that they're going to get their flowers. I particularly try and relax couples that are getting married. So if they're doing a wedding flower consultation, I always try and get them to relax, because the last thing they need to be is stressed about their wedding day. So if I can say, look, your flowers will be ready, they'll be ready on this date, don't worry. They seem to like that sort of more relaxed style, rather than what do you want, when do you want it, and that there was enough pressure and stress around weddings without me adding any extra to them. So,
So true.
You're so kind.
Yeah, but what I found is the downside of this is a lot of the couples this year in particular have said, oh yeah, and can I also have? So about 2 weeks before the wedding, they suddenly add to their order. It's like, no. And as I've already alluded to, I can't say no. So if people want something, it's just like, oh yes, of course I'll do that for you. So if I'm doing your wedding flowers and they suddenly want some extra thank you flowers for the mums, then I'll do that as well.
I think I know your Enneagram number. I think you're a number 2, which is a helper.
Yeah, I can just imagine. I mean, going into your shop and seeing, a group of people making something, whatever it might be, just like the atmosphere and the air, that creativity, that like surge of that joy. There's something really enticing about going into a really welcoming shop with all these beautiful like arts and craft tools and supplies, and then seeing people actually make something from those tools and supplies, and then coming out of it and just with a smile on their face. There's something really enticing, I think, for a lot of artists it's like sharing that joy with other people and being in a space that, nurtures it as well. It sounds like that's the type of space that you're trying to create for your community with Arlo Arts.
Yeah, absolutely. I love when people come in and have workshops, they create something, this is another thing that I do as well with workshops. If I say that it's a 2.5 hour workshop and you need more time, you have more time. I don't say, right, that's it, your time's done, you're kicked out. So I don't mind people if they're hanging around and want to create a bit more. If they've come for a workshop to say make peonies, but they want some tips on something else. We always go off tangent. There's always other things that we chat about and discuss. With kids' parties, what I find is the kids don't always want to do the activity that's been chosen for them. They get
of course,
they get restless. They're wondering when the cake's going to arrive. If it's a birthday.
Oh my god, you let them have cakes there too. That is so cool.
Yeah, so if it's a party, there might be cake served halfway through, or one time they brought in a load of pizzas. So it's always you never know what's going to happen.
Well, that's a great place to have a birthday. A birthday party.
When I set up the workshop space, one of the main things I decided on was a table that could expand, so it could be whatever size it needed to be, so it sits up to 10 people, or it could be made smaller. But I also made sure that it was easy to wipe down and clean.
Good thinking. You don't know what's going to go on that table.
Yeah, the glue comes off nice and easily.
What kind of workshops have you had in the past, other than paper flowers?
I've run origami ones, so teaching people how to make various different origami shapes, even paper cranes and things like that. Mm-hmm. I've had people coming in doing watercolours. I have one company that comes in that does needle felting workshops. We've done calligraphy. Yeah, anything really.
Anything. That's so cool. Such a great creative space.
Yeah, it's nice to have that. And if you walk past the shop, my shop's in two, the half that you have seen on Instagram, but there is another window, and that's where the workshop is, a lot of the craft supplies. So people, if they're walking past the shop, they can see in and they can see people at the workshop as well. So that sort of entices people in. So I've had workshops where people have wandered in and they're just watching what we're doing.
That's so fun.
Totally would be like that. I feel like, what are you doing? When can I join in?
Exactly. With running a store, what are the downsides? Because I feel like you're at the store all the time and your life is focused full of paper flowers, from opening your eyes to opening the store to being at the store, delivering things, shipping things out. And then when do you have time for your husband and your kids?
Well, it is full on, but the beauty of being so local to the shop means I'm back home within 10 minutes of closing.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so the commute isn't there anymore, which means I've got more time at home. So we've got the evenings here. Obviously, I open the shop 6 days a week at the moment. So Sundays are my day off. So basically, when I close Saturday night, I come home and I'll make a big meal Saturday evening. I always make a big meal Saturday evening, and then Sunday's more of my relaxing day. And then, so it's, and my kids are a little bit older now, so they're 16 and 19, so they're quite self-sufficient. They've got their own life and independence now, so they don't need as much sort of babysitting as they
I bet you're waiting for that day too.
Oh, man. I am, and I'm not. I don't know. But I love this age. They're adorable. But but there's no way I can run a store.
Mine know how to order food online and get it delivered themselves.
Charge it on mom card. That is so wonderful. I can't wait to come visit your store one day. Mm-hmm. I know both Jesse and I love the UK, and we're just dying one day that we can travel again. And it's on my bucket list. I would love to come see your store, make some paper flowers at your place.
It'd be so cool.
Come and run some workshops here.
Yes,
that'd be so cool. Yeah, that'd be so cool. Tell us, what kind of papers do you carry? We got to know like what papers we can use.
Yes.
So the main paper that I have is the German florist crepe paper, and I have the doublet as well. I'm very sad that I've had to limit the number of colours I've got on the doublet now. So many aren't available anymore. And I have small selection of Italian crepe paper as well, the 180 and the 90 gram. Not as much quantity, shall we say, because I'm able to order that in slightly smaller quantities than the German paper.
How is it from ordering the German crepe paper from Viola? I've heard many stories, and I just love that you do carry German crepe paper. I feel like a lot of stores that I know of, they just carry a lot of like the Italian because it's so much easier to get. And I know with the Viola, they are limiting their colors a little bit, and the packaging is a little bit like you have to buy, you want this color, but you get other colors. What is the process? Was it hard to order paper from them?
Certain aspects were difficult. Basically, I don't buy it in the multi-packs. I buy it in single rolls, and I have to buy a minimum of 50 rolls per color. So I get 50 rolls per at least, and then I've ordered all the colors I can. And for the doublet, it comes in. Basically, minimum order for me is 200 sheets per color. So that's the minimum I have to order each time. So
yeah, that's a lot of, and I also know from. I don't know what the pricing is. For me, it's the most expensive type. So I'm just thinking about like the money up front that you have to pay, to buy it.
Yeah, so that is a commitment. And when I first placed that order, I was obviously very nervous about ordering so much paper. Because it was something, I think it was 30 different colours of German crepe paper that I ordered, of the florist crepe. So that was 30 boxes plus every colour of the doublet I could get at the time. And I had a very large pallet delivery, several pallets suddenly arriving and go, oh my word.
Were you like, do I have space for this?
Yeah, I didn't really at the time. not initially. I had a conservatory at home that was my storage space, and I've just recently got a new delivery of German crepe paper, and I restocked the colours I was low of. So I had 2 pallets arrive last Monday, and it took me pretty much the entire day to offload it off the pallets, get it into the shop, get it unboxed, get it onto the shelves, get it into storage. But I knew I had muscles after that.
Sure. The side benefits of paper flowers.
So if people want to go ahead,
you ship internationally, right?
I did do a lot more, but the wonderful thing that is Brexit has caused issues for me. So it means that I have to go through customs to ship internationally now. I also have to go through customs to import from Germany. So that's caused me lots of extra headaches this year. So the price of importing the paper has increased. This time the shipping cost doubled. And it's purely because of Brexit, which is a bit unfortunate. So
it is. And the shipping in the United States has also increased too. So especially with COVID, there's a lot of imports that's just been slowed down in general. Things are so much harder to get nowadays. Are you experiencing that in the UK?
Yeah, last year at one point, getting cardboard boxes to use to ship things was almost impossible. And it was like a 6-week wait time for cardboard boxes at one point. Luckily, I had ones that I could use. But yeah, it's for the international shipping. So shipping to Europe, some of the couriers suspended deliveries for a while, so I couldn't ship because there was no shipping options. Then they started them again, and then the prices keep changing. Certain things getting into the UK are quite difficult at the moment. Some of that's because of Brexit, some of it's because of the pandemic. It's a mixture of reasons. So it is difficult. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes in the run up to Christmas as well. I've having a bricks and mortar shop, I'm trying to think about what I need to order in for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's difficult to know. It really is tricky to know. So,
Sure.
particularly since you have to pay all these costs up front, and then you don't want to be stuck with lots of stock or things. So it's tricky. It's tricky for everyone.
Yeah. I wonder because we get a lot of people who are in Europe and ask about how to go about buying German crepe paper. Usually it's German, Italian, and it's a little bit easier for them to get on Amazon, you go online. But usually, German. And that's why I asked, because, physically you're in Europe. But yes, now that you mentioned Brexit, I don't even think it's any easier for them to get crepe paper from you than it is to get it from overseas, like from Cartfinney or something, or not Cartfinney, from Rose Mill. But you're in our group, in our Facebook group, you've seen people ask, they're like, where do I buy this? And Quinn and I have limited information because we're in North America, but I know we always suggest Arlo Arts, but now I'm like thinking, well, I'm sure you can deliver to them, but it probably will just take, it'd probably be like more expensive than I expect, probably, because even though you're in Europe, like you said, because of the policies now, they're different. It's like with the customs and everything, it's going to be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately. If basically any of the European customers, if they want crepe paper, they can just get in touch with me and I can quote them the shipping cost. What I've decided to do is, as and when people ask, I'll add that country onto this as possible shipping option, because at the moment I don't know exactly what the shipping costs are for every country. The delivery companies are changing things all the time, so it's best just, if anyone wants anything, just get in touch and I'll find out what the best shipping option is, what the cheapest ones are, and let them know. That's much the easiest way at the moment because it's so varied at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Yeah. So guys, if you're in the UK and you want German crepe paper or Italian crepe paper, make sure you contact Arlene. Give her,
Arlo Arts, everybody.
Yeah, Arlo Arts. Just, email her, let her know, I'm thinking about buying X, Y, and Z. Can you give me a quote? And she'll do the hard work and look it up for you, which is so kind of you to do that. I absolutely understand why you would want to on a case-to-case basis, God, because like you said, the shipping costs are just, you can't even predict them right now. And there's so much dependent on, the availability of the couriers, the distance, the weight, like there's a lot of factors that you can't just, off of the back of your head, give a quote and hope that it will cover your costs. So yeah, I absolutely understand why you would feel more comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we want to specifically ask, Arlene?
I think that's it. We covered a lot. Thank you for being so generous with your time with us.
Not a problem.
Well,
I think sometimes people come into my shop and I start talking to them about paper flowers and I'm thinking they probably want to get away. They probably don't want to hear all this information.
Oh my gosh. Well, no, thank you for being so open with, how you run your business. I think a lot of people are curious. I think a lot of people need to know what the realities are too of running a business. You sound like you're very, very capable. You're not just making flowers, you're running a business where you have to deal with money, cash flow. Like shipping, like there's so much that goes into it. So yeah, it's really helpful hearing from someone who's actually doing it. And can I say doing it, as Superwoman by themselves? Like that's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. But knowing like there's a lot that goes into it, but yeah, let's go. No, go ahead.
I think I'm lucky because my background has been in business. So I was a business manager for a number of years in various different companies. So I've always managed budget. And when I worked in investment banks as a business manager, there's lots of different factors that you have to worry about. There's all the legal and compliance issues as well as running the business. But what a lot of people don't know is actually I was a mathematician by trade originally.
Oh, so, cool.
I love that.
So I actually have a PhD in
hence origami, right? And that's why origami got you.
Yeah. So having a PhD in maths means I'm very focused on that side of things anyway, and a bit of a nerd, and yeah.
You're not afraid. I mean, that's important though. It's important. You're not afraid of numbers, which is, I think, the wonder. Like, and you're not afraid of your numbers. You're not afraid of looking at them. You probably love looking at them and making sure things balance. And you're not like some people are scared of looking at their bottom line, right? It's like, oh, do I have enough money? But you're not. And I think that is so cool. I mean, we're just talking with another guest about how she was a late bloomer, and having a second career where maybe your first career or your life experience really helped you to this point in your life. Because if you had been doing something else, or you did this like 20, 30 years ago, and you never had a career in business, or you didn't have a mathematician degree, then or mathematics degree, then you might not, or finance, you would never be here, or you would maybe be there, but not be as successful, So it's so cool seeing how your life experience really brought you to the place that you are now. Okay, so let's end up with the fun one. What's your favorite app?
That's a tricky one. The couple of apps that I use quite a lot are really for business-wise purposes. I use Snapseed quite a lot for editing photos, because a lot of the photos I take are actually on my phone. So I use that. And for the shop, for designing things like flyers and just generally putting things like, occasionally I make cards, I like using Canva as a design tool as well.
Yes, we love Canva.
Yeah, so I like using those because they're quite creative. They're easy to use as well. I'd love to be able to go into use things like Lightroom and get a lot more experience on the photography side, but frankly, I don't have time for that.
Your day is so busy.
Yeah. Well, whatever works. Honestly, at this point, it's like it's better to document than not document, and get it out there and share, especially if you're running a business. I mean, yes, I think branding and imagery is important, but as long as it's adequate, I think it's fine. I think we do too much overthinking sometimes where we're not sharing enough. We're like a little bit critical.
Yeah, I think that's easy to do because you want whatever you put out in the public domain to be perfect. But sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect. Just sending out a message is all you need to do. Say, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I've got. This is where I am. That's more than adequate.
So true. I like how you said it, sending out a message, which it is. It's a way to tell somebody, communicate, right? It's more communication as opposed to, hey, look what I'm doing. It's so beautiful. It's more like, hey, look what I'm doing. And maybe let's have a conversation about what I'm doing kind of thing. That's really cool. Great way to, I love how you framed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arlene, for being on our show.
You're more than welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no, likewise. It's been so nice to match a face to a name, honestly. Yes. I mean, you've been so helpful, the paper flower community and worldwide, not just because of paper supplies, you help, when people have questions, you give them your generous. Time of the day. Yeah. And give them your, opinions or your knowledge and share all of that. We're very honored to have to be peers, to be in the same community.
It's great to speak to you. I mean, I must admit it. I would like to engage more on social media and comment on all these social media posts, but I don't tend to scan because I don't have time to engage as much as I would like to. I should set a more time aside for engaging with people and commenting on social media posts more.
Or share what you do. Yeah. Would love to see what you're doing in your shop when you have time.
Mainly making sunflowers this week.
Oh, nice.
Oh, fun.
How appropriate. When is sunflower season? Yeah, thank you so much, Arlene, for appearing on our podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Paper Talk. Today's episode is sponsored by our patrons, Elaine Lim, Moria Van White, Renee McDowell, Jennifer Desplantes, Robin, Bonnie Slipper, Laura Wheely, Martha Tokus, Nina, Linda Drysdale, Lucinda, and Tina Proctor. We appreciate your donation, and we're excited to keep creating content for our paper flower community. If you're interested in supporting us, head on over to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/papertalk and sign up as a patron. We would love to see you there.